The man's words stuck like a fishbone in her throat, mercilessly and viciously piercing Natalie's sorest spot. What had happened on that unfaithful night was not her fault, and she had only found out that she was pregnant after she went abroad. She didn't even know the man from that night who had done this to her, much less what she should do. After a long period of indecision, she had finally mustered up the courage to have the child. She had never regretted it, and she did not feel that someone she had never met could blame her for it. Sorry, but that's none of your business. Her expression immediately turned cold, and she enunciated every word very clearly. He just accidentally spilled water on you and mistook you for someone else. You don't have the right to speak to me like that. She stared at the man in front of her with a fiery gaze and added, I can teach my own child. I don't need you to give him a lesson. You can teach your child, Bryce scoffed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Since he has a mother like you, I'm afraid he'll end up spoiled. Natalie clenched her fists and tightly pursed her lips. She took the cup of water out of Liam's hands and threw it in the man's face. The water slid down his skin. Seeing his shocked expression, she smiled coldly. Well then, I really must thank you for your concern. She ignored the fuming man, picked up her child, and returned to her seat. After what had just happened, Liam was in a low mood. Natalie's heart ached to see him like this. She'd never seen him look for his father before, didn't know what had possessed him to hug a stranger's leg and call him daddy. Liam, what happened to you just now? She reached out and gently ruffled the hair on his forehead. Why did you call him daddy? She asked softly. Liam looked up and blinked at her. He is my father. I know it. I can feel it, he insisted. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He could feel that man was his father. All right, you. She poked his forehead and said seriously, don't mess around anymore. Do you hear me? Fortunately, the rest of the flight was uneventful, and she did not see that man again. As she led Liam out of the airport, she bumped into Cheryl and Nick, who had come to pick her up. 5 years had passed, but she still hadn't expected to see her stepsister again so soon. Long time no see. Cheryl held Nick's hand and smiled, leaning on his shoulder. I really missed you. Natalie thought that she no longer felt anything for them, but after seeing this, the hatred in her heart skyrocketed. Is that so? She replied coldly. Looking at Cheryl's smug expression, she felt disgusted. Liam, who had been sitting on his luggage, looked out curiously from behind Natalie's legs. He saw Cheryl and Nick and asked, Who are they? Cheryl was shocked when she saw the child. She had been so focused on flaunting her feelings in front of Natalie that she hadn't noticed him. Before she could finish, Natalie replied calmly, This is my son, Liam. Son? How did she get a son? Cheryl had countless questions in her mind. She hadn't even heard that Natalie was married, so where had he come from? Big sis, you're so mean. She nudged Natalie and said with a smile, You didn't even tell us you got married? 5 years before, Cheryl had pretended to be innocent and wronged so that she could play the victim. Now she was affectionately calling her Big Sis, as if they had a deep sisterly affection for each other. She was really a talented actress. Natalie watched her performance, and the disgust in her heart almost reached its limit. Since it's come to this, what's the point in pretending? How can you look at yourself and not feel sick? You make me sick. The moment she finished speaking, Nick, who had been standing beside his fiancée without saying anything, shouted angrily, Why do you bother with her, Cheryl? She did so many shameless things in the past. This child might even be the illegitimate son of that man.
Don't let your excitement die! The full audio series is on the Pocket FM app. Tap the link in the description to install now.